Hello, darlings. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name is Freedom, and today I'm going to talk to you about what you need to know about the narc injury. First of all, for those of you who don't know, narcissists are big babies. They are easily wounded, and this is regardless of the fact that they put on such a brave, rough, tough exterior, macho, tough as nails, hard man. That's all a performance. I mean, obviously there's different versions of narcissist characters, but often they put on this brave, strong man, tough man, macho man performance. And despite this, they're actually very easily injured because they want to be injured. They want to take offense. They want something that they can use as an excuse for treating you badly. They don't need you to actually do anything of any real significance. I mean, you could quite literally look at them the wrong way. My soon-to-be next used to say to me, what did he say? What's that smirk on your face? So that was the one thing that obviously upset, or that was the excuse that he used, the smirk on my face, because I wasn't saying anything and I wasn't doing anything, but the look on my face was enough for him to use it as an excuse for his bad behavior and his abuse of me. So as I said, it could be anything. You might have given the last chop or the biggest serving of meat to a guest or one of the children. Anything that kind of touches on their sense of entitlement or encroaches on their sense of entitlement. As a narcissist, they think they should have the best bit of everything. They should be served first. They should be given, if there's only one portion of food left, that, they should be given a second helping before anyone else. Their needs and wants should be addressed before anyone else's. So their wants should be addressed before anyone else's needs. And that includes needs of babies and toddlers. And this includes things like, sex, for example. Amazingly, a narcissist will expect you to ignore a crying child while they finish having sex. So anyhow, as I say, their sense of entitlement is beyond compare. They have a hair trigger temper. It will be triggered by anything. They don't need you to do anything really in particular. All you need to do is give them an excuse. And once you've given them that excuse, then they can use that to justify their bad behavior, and they will. So, for example, not just mine, most narcs lie. So they lie, and when you call them out on it and say, why did you lie about that? Then they get narc injured, highly offended, and say, how dare you not trust me? How dare you accuse me of lying? When have I ever lied to you? Knowing full well that they lie all the time and about everything and for no reason at all. I mean, they are pathological liars. They lie because they enjoy keeping everyone off balance. They lie because they don't like you knowing their business. So if you say, where were you today? More likely than not, they'll just tell you a blatant lie. I mean, they could have just said, I was just at the grocery store and then I ran into an old mate and we went and had a beer. But no, they don't want you to know that truth. So you might get a version of the truth. Anyhow, the way these individuals' minds work is very different from us normal and non-disordered, non-personality disordered folk. Figuring it out does take a while, I've got to tell you. But once you have figured it out, you know, it just makes the world of difference. It absolutely changes your understanding of what you've lived through, what your reality is. And look, with the narc injury, I've got to kind of put a warning out there, and this is it. There are also degrees of narc injury. So you didn't cook his chops right, narc injured, calls you names, gives him an excuse to kick the door, kick the cat as he walks out the door and slams the door. However, when you are in the process of separating or divorcing from a narcissist, those kinds of things like leaving, starting a relationship with another person, just daring to survive without them, that wounds them deeply. Not in the kind of way that, one second, not in the kind of way, sorry, my lighting's playing up. Not in the kind of way, you know, sensitive people get wounded. It's not even like that. It's more this kind of, like I said, this self-entitlement, this rage they get is, how dare you? You know, how dare you think you can leave me and survive without me? You know, after everything I've done for you. This is the kind of foul things you hear. So that level of narc injury can actually be dangerous because they can justify extreme acts of violence, stalking, and even, you know, committing acts of homicide. I can't think of that bloke that just recently killed his wife and the two little girls, and they ended up in the oil barrels or whatever. Something just unbelievably grotesque. But you know, he was quite obviously a narcissist, and that is the kind of narc injury that you need to be careful about, because their sense of entitlement is, you know, so just, it's just so out of whack, I suppose, with everyone else's kind of reality. You know, what we all think and accept as being normal behaviour and acceptable behaviour. You know, the narcissist, you know, they just think that they're special, they think they're entitled, and that they can do what they want, and they see you as property. That's another thing that you need to understand. They see you as property. They don't care about you as an individual person with your own, you know, dreams, wants, goals, beliefs, life, interests. None of that matters to them. All they care about is you performing the function that you are supposed to perform, which is to give them the supply and the fuel that they want. And when you cease doing that, you know, not only are you a bad appliance, but as I said, you've created a narc injury as well, especially if you got away. They don't like that. They like to discard. They don't like to be the one that gets discarded. That is a highly offensive narc injury in the grand scheme of narc injuries. That and obviously, you know, having another partner would be the kind of top two offences that you could commit to cause this narc injury. I mean, the best thing that could happen with a narc injury is that they could, you know, leave you alone, give you the silent treatment, ignore you. But at the other end of the spectrum, as I said, you know, they have the potential to be violent and aggressive and commit acts of homicide. Also, another thing, just quickly, just know that, you know, you can never go back. Once you've left them, there is no going back, because you will have to be punished. You know, that will take you back. Like if you were to go back, they will take you back. They will do the love bombing. You know, you will open your heart up to them again, you will believe that they are repentant, that they love you, that they will never do it again, that you're the only woman who's ever made them feel like this, and all the blah, blah, blah lies that they come up with. I mean, they will say it all and you'll believe it because you've been programmed to believe it. But then the devaluation and the discard stage will come a lot faster, a lot harder than before. You'll find them, they will give you a lot more abuse than they did because, and to actually quote my ex, I was giving it to her for everything she ever did wrong. That's what he said about the one that came before me, the one that he actually hospitalised by stomping on her head. I didn't know about this until later on in the piece, until I was already trapped and hooked myself, and and he made out that he was a changed man and he couldn't believe he'd done that and all the rest of it. 14 years later, now that he's with the one after me, and he's given her 2 black eyes, double black eyes. So they don't change. They really don't change. They might be able to suppress their behaviour, control their behaviour, hide their behaviour. They might be able to, but that in itself creates a narc injury. This is why, in my particular case, I am definitely at risk, because if he ever has the opportunity to give it to me for everything I've ever done for him, I'm going to, I'm not going to give him that opportunity. Let's just put it that way. I've got AVOs in place and I will use them if I need to. I will never give him the opportunity to hurt me in any way, because I know that with the way their brains work, this narcissistic injury, the self-entitlement, that they've got the right to hurt whoever they want and do whatever they want, he would hurt me. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So you need to know that too. Right, they've got the capacity to be violent if you've left them, if you've even just questioning them is enough to create a narc injury. As I said, you could look at them the wrong way. They don't need you to actually do anything because they want to be insulted. They want an excuse to treat you badly. It's like that old saying that things like alcohol doesn't make people violent. Violent people are violent. So this is the same kind of it's the same kind of thing. Narcissists are abusive people. Underneath it all, they can put on a performance and an act, but underneath it all, they don't like people. In fact, I would say they are pathologically envious and hate other people. They think they're better than them, but they also know that they're not. So there's this whole, lack of self-worth, and they look at other people and they think, why do they have that? And I want that. And, there's all that stuff. It's just so toxic. It really, really is. But at the end of the day, once there's an injury, an narc injury, things will never, ever go back to the initial idealization phase. It just won't, never will. No matter how hard you try, and you will jump through hoops to try and fix it, because he will keep telling you that it's something that you've done, and if you just did this, or if you were just like the ex, or if you just blah, 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 everything will be okay. And so you try, and then there's the other thing, they say it's they give you other excuses, it's their mental health or their stress at work or whatever it is. But the truth is that they're just big babies. They've got a hair trigger temper. They're just waiting for you to do anything that they can use as an excuse to abuse you and to be justified in their behaviour. And if you want to spend your life with someone like that, they're my guess. But I think, the vast majority of us do not want to be someone's whipping boy. Most of us want to be in loving and healthy relationships where we're equals, and where where what we say is what we do and we can trust in that. With a narcissist, it's the complete opposite. Everything they say is the complete opposite of what they actually do. It's all just one big con, and the goalposts are being shifted continually. It's just nowhere for anyone to live. Anyhow, that's all I wanted to say. Get yourself narc free. That's all I can say. I've been narc free now for almost 2 years, and I can't even begin to tell you how much better my life is without that constant, critical, abusive presence in my life. And also, just one last thing, don't fall for this trick that they do around this time of year. So just one of my girls just said, he sent me a Merry Christmas text. I just replied, one word kind of reply. He sent 2 more, and then I responded explaining why I wasn't answering him properly. And she was expecting him to open up because she was opening up, to be fair because she was being fair, to be genuine because she was being genuine. And he basically just gave her a 1-word reply after that, and that was it. So essentially, he'd done the work. All he wanted her to do was betray herself. All he wanted was for her to do what he wanted, and that was betray herself. She wasn't supposed to talk to him. She was going no contact, and he managed to get her to break no contact. And the second that she did, he dropped her like a hot potato again. Right? Because it was never about communicating. It wasn't about Merry Christmas. It was nothing other than, narcissists punishing their ex-partners, a narcissist's need for control. And once he had the control, he used it to punish her. So don't fall for this stuff over Christmas, right? We get sentimental over Christmas. We're normal human beings, but don't fall for it. It's all just lies. All right, darlings. Good to talk to you. I'll talk to you again soon.